I'm Sean Collins. I'm in the ring with the Fat Man and the Jew, and the Jew is not here right now, but I am sitting here. I do have Drake behind the camera, and we are here for an exclusive over-the-phone interview with former ECW and WWE superstar Nunzio. And I'm going to call him right now. Hello, is this Mr. Nunzio?
Yes, what's going on?
How's it going? Sean Collins from In the Ring with the Fat Man and the Jew. How are you today?
All right, what's going on, guys?
I really appreciate you doing this phone interview with us today. I've been really excited for it, and I've got a few questions if you don't mind.
All right, go ahead, shoot.
Okay, well, so, I remember we were talking when we were at ECPW, and I said the first time I ever met you, I was 9 years old in 2003, and I met you at The World, the old WWE restaurant in New York City.
Yes, that was actually one of my first appearances I ever did for them.
Really?
I don't even think I did a wrestling match. I think I also was there not hardcore.
Yeah, Crash Holly, yeah. Crash Holly and Howard Fink.
Yes.
Yes.
That was my first appearance ever for WWE.
Now that's kind of cool because I was there for that. That's actually pretty awesome. And I actually have a signed lunchbox that you signed for me for that day. But my question is...
Did I sign it Little Guido or Nunzio?
No, you signed it Nunzio. Nunzio #1. That's how you signed it.
So I was already Nunzio at that time. Okay.
Now here's my question though. A little before that though, back in late 2002 when you first came into WWE, you actually had a little feud with Crash Holly.
Yeah, he was the first guy I ever feuded with. I started with him again on the house shows.
Yeah.
And then I started with him on TV and doing a little something with him, and that's when they involved Jamie Noble. That was my first match that we actually had, and then me and Jamie actually got killed by Holly and Hugh Morris.
Oh, okay.
On SmackDown.
Yeah, well, actually, when you see the tape, I know you can't see it now. I'm wearing my SmackDown shirt today just for you because I know that was the brand you were mostly on in WWE, so...
I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. I'm wearing my SmackDown shirt. What was it like? Now, here's the thing. I've heard mixed things about working with Crash Holly. What was it like to work with him, with a feud?
Well, he was always good with me. It's like anything. If you get along with somebody, your match could be better with him. If you don't like each other, then your match could suck. I knew Holly, believe it or not, from ECW. He was there before he went to WWE. Crash Holly was at ECW and under a different name. Mm-hmm. So I always had a good relationship with him, and he was actually, when you come into that locker room, I didn't know a ton of people. He was actually very good to me, and I was hanging out with him, and he introduced me to a lot of people. So, me and him kind of hit it off. So our feud ended up being good. He was putting me over in the beginning, and that didn't seem to faze him. He didn't have a problem with it.
Right.
Just like anything else, if you don't want to put somebody over, you don't like them. It can become an issue. But as far as me with him, there was never an issue because he was always good with me.
Right.
And he actually made me feel comfortable. And when I was very new and say green to the WWE,
right.
He showed me a couple things that I should know and shouldn't do and do, and I appreciate that. It's terrible what happened to him.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, I heard he could be rough in the ring sometimes and stuff, though. But I always heard he was a good guy, so that's why I was.
Yeah, he could be a little stiff, but that's the way I like it anyway. When you come from ECW, we would get put through tables before, So getting in the ring with somebody that's a little stiff, as long as they're not trying to hurt you, because just like that whole sexy star thing, who I don't even know, when you're giving somebody your body, they're not supposed to take advantage of it because you're giving it to them.
Right.
Different in the UFC, if you earn it. And you earn that arm bar, you earn that leg lock, and then you go to rip it off. And that when somebody's giving it to you.
Right.
So.
No, I hear you. Which actually brings me, I wanted to ask you, speaking of the ECW days, now, when I got to do a quick interview with you over at ECPW, we mentioned some stuff. We talked about tag team partners and stuff like that. But I wanted to ask you, what was it like to win the tag championship? I believe it was August of 2000. With Tony Mamaluke, right?
Well, that was the second time. I won in 1997 at the ECW Arena.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my first time I won it with me and Tracy Smothers. If you go on the network, you can watch it. It's funny, I just actually watched that match. It was like us versus the Dudleys versus Coronis and New Jack. Well, no, actually, it was us versus Coronis and and New Jack.
Right.
It was FBI versus them, and New Jack was hitting us with all the items, and then the Dudley Boys came in and actually helped us win the match, which ended up making us win the belts.
Right. Wow.
So that was the first time. That was in Philly in the ECW arena, and then that was kind of towards the end of ECW when I won the belts with Tony.
Right.
Which was great because it was in the Hammerstein Ballroom.
Right.
And that was the second night of the 2-day tournament, I believe we were doing.
Okay. Wow.
It was a two-day tournament, and I think we beat who did we beat for that? Mikey Whipwreck and Tajiri.
Yes.
I believe that was it. So that was always good. It was always I loved it there, and whoever knew a couple of years later I was going to be wrestling right up the block from there at of course for the in Madison Square Garden there.
Yeah, right.
Which I ended up doing WrestleMania there, WrestleMania 20.
What was that like?
Good. Hello?
Yeah. No, I was curious. What was that like? What WrestleMania 20, Madison Square Garden? New York City. Can you tell me quickly about that? Like, I'm sure you get asked that a lot, but
yeah, well, I've told that story. I grew up in New York, so
right.
my father used to take me and my brother to wrestling. I've been a wrestling fan since I was 9 years old, and when Madison Square Garden was one of the places we used to go because every other month it was on live from there on TV, and then every other month it wasn't. So my father used to take me and my brother every other month, and I was actually there for WrestleMania 1, of course, and then so whoever knew 20 years later, I would be wrestling on WrestleMania 20. So that was, of course, a highlight of my career. And I've wrestled at Madison Square Garden, many, many times, but just to do WrestleMania, number one, and to do it in Madison Square Garden, where I was there for WrestleMania 1. So, it's a very good time, good memories, and that's what I actually like about the network. I would like to get some money off the stuff too, of course. People are going through it, but it's a place to go, and you could watch a lot of your stuff, and that will never go away. I'll be gone long before all that material will be gone.
That's true.
But it'd be nice to get some money for it. So
yeah, right. I agree with that. Speaking of, I guess the networks, let me go back and watch on network, which I wanted to ask you about, since we're talking about ECW and the Tag Team Champions and all that great stuff. 2005, ECW One Night Stand, you and the F.B.I. had a reunion, and I believe you won against Super Crazy and Tajiri that night.
Yeah, I think all my partners we brought in.
Right. Yeah, but it was a reunion of all the original members, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except Tommy Rich. I don't think Tommy Rich was there.
Oh, okay. But all the other ones were there, right? It was
all the other ones there. Tracy was there, I remember. I don't know why Tommy was there. J.T. Smith was there. Right. I believe Mama Luke was there. I don't know, maybe Tommy was booked already or maybe something happened. He couldn't make it. I'm not really sure why he wasn't there.
What was that like, though, to be together with all your original brothers from ECW days? And, this was many years later afterwards. This was 2005.
Which now is still over 10 years ago now.
Yeah, 12 years ago, yeah. Goodness.
Time flies, and it was cool for me, and it was cool for a lot of the guys that didn't have jobs. Like I was in WWE race, so I had a job when that came about. But that also gave a lot of people get a chance to come back, and then after that is when we reprised the ECW for the WWE, which ended up employing a lot of guys that weren't employed before. Right. So that was it was good. I mean, obviously, it didn't work out. People were hoping. Right. And it was it was what it was. They were trying in the beginning. It was going to be more of a Paulie and Dreamer thing running it, and then it got the overall WWE feel to it, and took away from some of the stuff that we were doing, and it was what it was, but at least it gave people an opportunity who weren't there to work for the WWE and have a job for whatever it was, about a year and a half, as long as it went.
Right. No, that's cool. Yeah.
So it was all right that they brought it back. It was a good time seeing all the guys.
Right, that's what I was wondering. Yeah, to have the FBI reunion, that must have been cool though too. Right? Yeah,
that was cool. And then we did it again with TNA.
That's right.
Yes. 2008.
Right.
Well, 2010. I'm sorry. 2010. They brought back the FBI. It was me, Tracy. Tracy was there. Mama Luke was there. Big Sal was there.
Right.
We wrestled that 6-man tag.
Yes.
Versus Johnny Swing. So that was another semi-ECW reunion. So it seems like these things kind of never die.
Right.
It just seems like they coming back, these reunion shows. You know, but it's a good time, and make some money. It's work a little bit, give the fans something that they want. That was the same thing when Shane Douglas was doing his stuff, bringing back the F.B.I. and being totally doing stuff on his show down in Pennsylvania when he was doing the Hardcore Homecoming, I want to say. And then me and Dreamer. I mean, for House of Hardcore, I worked about 10 House of Hardcore shows. In the very beginning, they had us versus Danny Doring and Roadkill, the F.B.I. So, it just seems like coming back around.
That's awesome. No, that's awesome, though. That's good to, it's good to be able to do that, I would imagine, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I'm getting a little older, too, obviously, and slowing down a little bit, not being able to do so much like I used to.
Right.
I got other things going on in my life, so I can't afford to get hurt.
Right. No,
so I got to be careful because wrestling's not my bread and butter. I do other stuff now, so
gotcha.
Just get in there, have some fun, do a couple things, and entertain the people.
That's awesome. Now let me ask you this question: 2005, you won the Cruiserweight Championship versus Paul London, I believe, on an episode of Velocity. That was the first time you won a championship in WWE, though, right?
The Paul London, was that the first? Was that the second? Because I won it in Italy, too. I beat Hooven.
That was after, because that was after, that was when you won against one of the, yes. No, when you won in Italy, that was after the first time you went when you had it against Paul London. I'm just curious, what is it like to hold a championship in WWE? That's just a really cool, to win the Cruiserweight belt. What's it like to hold a championship in WWE?
No, it's definitely great. That's like one of your accomplishments you want. I mean, as a cruiserweight, you would like to win the cruiserweight title. As a heavyweight, you want to win the heavyweight title. I mean, it was always good, but at that time, they treated the cruiserweights like they were winning on Velocity. But we were on SmackDown with the belt too. I did a lot of stuff first. I wrestled Ray on SmackDown for the belt when he had it, and but it was also on the Velocity show a lot. Like I was on the SmackDown show more when I was doing the F.B.I. in WWE with Chuck Palumbo and Johnny Stamboli. When I was doing the F.B.I. then, we were working with guys like The Undertaker, Rikishi, Benoit. If you go back and look at all those matches, we were putting hits on people.
Right, yeah.
So that was the opportunity for me to work with top guys.
Right.
That I was very lucky to do. And then once that ran its course, it took a couple of years because they had us with JBL, Rikishi, and once that ran its course, they fired Johnny, and Chuck went and did the motorcycle gimmick, and they put me in the cruiserweight division, which actually gave me another couple of year run, compared to just getting rid of me too. Sooner or later when you're in WWE, your time is numbered if you're certain guys.
Right.
So by me being with Chuck and Johnny, that gave me a good 2-3 years with working with all the top guys. How many guys can say they worked with The Undertaker and them guys? And I had singles matches with them. I had 6-man tags with them. I worked house shows, TVs. So, great amount of experience. I got to work single matches with Chris Benoit, single matches with Eddie Guerrero, tons of tag matches with Eddie.
Imagine it's an honor nowadays to say that. You had your single matches with them and was able to work with them, I would imagine, right? Eddie and Chris?
Yeah, especially because they're not even around anymore.
Right. Exactly.
Those were great learning experiences. And I remember Eddie from ECW, was cool, he caught fire from there, went to WCW, and then, things didn't work out for him in WCW, a lot of political bullshit,
Yeah.
And then he found his ground in WWE and became the champion over there and ended up doing great.
Yeah. Yeah, he had a great run there, yeah. Let me ask you a question, though. Talking about you winning the Cruiserweight Championship, you mentioned it, and I was going to ask you about it. The difference of winning the Cruiserweight Championship then and the Cruiserweight division then compared to the Cruiserweight now, they really brought it back when they brought it back last summer, and they really just revamped it and really pushed it. And they have their own show, 205 Live. They have all that now, and the difference between how do you feel about the Cruiserweight division now? Do you watch it at all? Do you pay attention to it at all, or?
Yeah, well, I still watch. Listen, we're all fans. I still watch Raw. I still watch SmackDown. I mean, I'm not glued in front of the TV. I watch what I want to watch. Yes. When I was there, Triple H wasn't really in charge yet, and the cruiserweights were just a match on the show, and they never felt bad where if the show was running too long, they would cut the cruiserweight match out without thinking twice.
Right.
Cruiserweight was never, they just would have a match on the show. Now it seems to be different with the NXT and them utilizing the smaller guys like myself in a different way right now. The Triple H or whoever had the vision out there with NXT, and they did the Cruiserweight Classic, and it's different right now. They gave its own show basically to the cruiserweights that's on the network, and at the same time they're still throwing a match on Raw, a match on SmackDown. Right. It seems like it's getting some time. So obviously. They're putting 10 times more time into the cruiserweights now than they ever did when I was there with Chavo and even Ray and all them.
Is that a plus, or is that a plus, or is it like a minus? Is that good, or do you think like they should be putting that kind of time in, or do you think they should treat it like the old days, like you said, like it was just a match, or do you think they're putting too much into it?
I think it's better for the guys now.
Right.
I think it's better for the guys now, and
I'm a huge fan of the cruiserweights. I love the cruiserweights, so I absolutely love it.
When I left WWE and I got to do independence, all those guys like Tony Nese and Johnny Gargano and like all those kind of guys I got to meet when I went back to independence, and they were all wanting to go to WWE, and now 3/4 of them, they're all there now.
Right.
A lot of the guys, I'm leaving out a lot of names there's mentioned too, but a lot of those guys like Tony Nese, I think he's great.
Yeah, he is.
He's phenomenal.
Yeah,
Austin Aries, I wish it would have worked out for him. He's a great guy. It always seems like something always bites him in the ass somewhere.
Well, it's known in the ring with the Fat Man and the Jew. I am actually a huge T.J. Perkins fan. He's actually one of my favorites in the company.
Too well.
Right.
I know of him, of course.
Right.
He's very good, and Jack Gallagher, who I don't really know, but I see. He's very good. They have a ton of it, and now they dedicated their own show where they could do 3-4 matches, and they still, it's on the network. Most people have the network now. If you're a fan, it's not TV, so the average fan that's flicking through the channels might not see you.
Right.
But if you're a fan and you're going to get that, because if you want the pay-per-views and all that stuff, you pay $9.99, you get everything.
You can't beat that either.
No, so people are watching that.
Right.
People are watching that. So, and like I said, I always glance through the network, watch my old stuff, and watch what's going on. And it's like anything. I watch my friends. Sometimes if I turn it on, it's something I don't want to watch, I turn it off.
Yeah, I got you on that.
Let me ask you. Channel surf. I'm glad Shelton Benjamin's back. He's a great guy. I worked with him many, many times.
Right. Well, Brian Kendrick's also in the Cruiserweight division again, too, which is awesome.
I love Brian. Brian. Me and Brian started the first day together. We
really?
started on the road together, right? Yeah, when we first, in 2002, whenever it was, we first started.
I shared a locker room with him a few years back over in Brooklyn, and he seems like a great guy in person.
He's a very nice guy, very good guy.
Yeah.
He's a hell of a talent. And,
right.
I didn't know him until I got there, and then he was on his own, and I was on my own.
Right.
And then I'm like, hey, you want to carpool and ride together? And then we started rooming together, and then he became friends with Crash too. Then Crash started to hang out with us and stuff like that. And that's the way it works. And I'm very happy for Brian.
Yeah.
I'm glad that he's back there. He deserves it. I like that. He's doing great, of course, because he's a great performer. But I did like the baby face look that he had when short blonde hair, looked like a little kid.
Yeah, Spanky when he was going that Spanky
he's in great shape.
Yeah.
All the girls loved him.
Yeah.
Now he looks more like a heel.
Right.
With the long hair.
Which is what he is.
Like that.
Right.
But he's still a great talent.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. Now, speaking of your friends, this is my last question before I wrap it up, because we've been going a while here, and I know you probably have more things to do tonight. My last question is ECPW, where you got your start, where you were trained, for the company, before it was even known ECPW. 2009, you won the ECPW Hall of Fame, correct?
Yes, Gino Caruso, Mike Jones, and stuff put me in it. Yes,
right. An honor, I'm imagining, right? That must have been a great feeling.
They recognized me from the school. That not too many guys went on to ECW or WWE from the school at that time, maybe. I appreciate it. I was very happy. That Gino called and asked me, and went over there. We had a great time, and. It's definitely an honor, and I appreciate them thinking of me. And I'm in there with guys like Jimmy Snuka, and a whole host of other names that I grew up watching on TV.
Right.
Who, even though they didn't go to that school, they ended up working for Gino. a lot of times for his promotion. And, to this day, obviously, you just saw me. I still work for Gino all the time.
Right.
He runs a lot of shows. He has a good little promotion there. And believe it or not, that school that I started in is still there. I was like one of the first 5 students that ever came out went to that school.
Wow.
When I went to that school, there was a Kodiak Bear, Glenn Champion, Gino.
Right.
The trainers was Jerry Fazio, Rocky Jones.
Right. Wow.
I said the Kodiak Bear, Johnny Mako, Joe Daniels. These guys it was like a group of 5 or 6 guys. And then it grew from there. So, I'm very happy for him too. And then I got a chance to meet all the guys that got trained like by Mike Sharp, which was Mike Bucci, which ended up being Supernova, Simon Dean, same guy, Crowbar, good friend of Crowbar to this day. I go up and do my physical therapy when I'm injured up there. He's doing great for himself. He has a great practice going on in Rutherford, New Jersey.
Right.
So, yeah. No matter what, I made some good friends, good connections.
That's amazing.
And, the storied career, it hasn't ended yet. I'm still going.
I love it.
We'll see how it goes.
I love it. Well, Nunzio, thank you so much. We go to the ECPW shows. I'm hoping we'll cross paths again soon. I really appreciate this exclusive interview for my show. I loved it. It was great talking to you. I'll keep in touch with you. And thank you so much. I hope you have a fantastic night. And when this becomes available, I will send you everything so you can watch it.
I'd love to see it.
I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did just now. I thank you so much for everything.
No problem. Talk to you later.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye.
So that was Nunzio from F.B.I, Little Guido from F.B.I, ECW, WWE, an amazing guy. What an amazing interview just now. And that was great. So I'm Sean Kaz, sending all my love to David. He's not here, but David, I hope you enjoyed this interview. And this is In the Ring with the Fat Man and the Jew. Be there.